Hello America, this is Keith, your friendly neighborhood technician, coming at you with some more wonderful information. Today we're going to talk about my ice maker is frozen-ish. There are two possible ways of looking at it. If you look at it and you see looks like a waterfall of frozen going down the back, that's one issue. If you open it and you see a bunch of little what look like snowflakes and stuff, that's something completely different. We're going to go over them both here real quick. Okay, now this is a side-by-side. This is your ice maker, okay, and this is your ice dispenser, okay, where it actually comes out. Now, if we look at this, if you've got ice all through here and actually coming down the back and it looks like a frozen waterfall, you've got a water valve problem. Your water valve isn't shutting off and it is overfilling your water on your ice. And what happens is ice builds top to bottom, okay? So it'll freeze and then it'll flow, it'll freeze, it'll flow, it'll freeze, and it'll flow. Now, if you have water in your base, that's a good indicator of that you've got a water leaking issue. But if you see frozen water ice down there, you have a problem with probably your ice maker putting out too much water. Now, the other one is you open your freezer and you see what looks like snow and frost on your ice maker. That's a completely different issue. What that is you're allowing warm air into your ice maker area, and when you have warm air and frozen air, you get frost. When you go out in the mornings and you see that whole bunch of dew and stuff all over your car, if it was 15 degrees lower that morning, you would have ice on your thing, okay? What that is caused by is this right here. If this doesn't close all the way, warm air is going to come in and actually freeze on your ice maker, because this fits directly over this, so it doesn't actually go around a lot. It goes basically into your ice maker, because warm air always goes up, and it's going to cause what looks like a frost or like snow on your freezer and or ice maker. Okay, the fix to that is making sure that this is closed. Okay, another possibility is your gasket's not sealing right. What I mean by that is, if it's closed, you should have a good solid seal. The thing that happens is something will get caught in there, and what happens is you get something that looks like this. You've got a gap there. That gap is going to allow warm air into your freezer section, and you'll know it by, like I said, you'll see what looks like little things of snow and frost on your freezer. That will affect your ice maker first, because one, your ice maker needs to be below 10 degrees to function, and that's where the most of the moisture, your humidity and your moisture is in the water. Okay, so if it warms up, you get humidity, you get frost. That will cause your ice maker to work poorly, and if not, freeze over. Okay, so if it looks clean, you're good. But like I said, if you can see frost starting to build up, and you can rub it like you would on a car on a fall day when it's first 25-degree morning, you get that little frost build up in your car, same thing here. Okay, that means you've got an air leak. And then it's looking at, is it here? Is it your gasket? Where is that air coming from that's giving warm air into the frozen section? Okay, if you have ice starting to work its way down the back, you have a valve that is not shutting off properly. You're adding too much water, which means it overflows, it freezes. Water running on ice goes, stops, freezes, and it grows. Okay, just be careful, take a look, keep an eye out. Not a hard fix. Like I said, if it's overflowing, you're probably gonna need a water valve, or you need an ice maker, because one of them's not telling the other one to shut off, or one doesn't shut off. I'd recommend getting a technician out there to look at that to find out what the problem is. If you've got a frosting issue, then that's for you to figure out, where is my gasket? Look at it. If you look at it, it should be always consistent. But the other one is this staying closed? Is that sealing? Okay. Another way to find out if it's not sealing is, do you have water here? Because what happens is, if I have ice in this, okay, this is angled that all the water, it all runs to the front to help. So if I've got warm air coming up in here, I'm gonna have warm air in here, and I'm gonna get a little thaw. My ice cubes are going to be a little wet looking. They're going to feel wet to the touch because I got warm air coming into it. And then you're going to be dripping. It's going to come and build up in here. Okay? And then you might get drips, and you may come and see you've got water pooling here and no one's used the dispenser. But if you have water pooling here, that means this most likely is not sealing correctly, okay? There's a bunch of videos out there on how to check that out. What I would do, me personally, hold on, let me get this back in there, okay? If you think it's not sealing, take some water, not a lot of water, half a cup, dump it in there, and see if you get water in here. If you dump water in there and it drips, you have a bad seal. A half a cup isn't enough to actually push it open to actually let it drain. Okay, now remember when you do that, because the moment you do push this, it is going to drop all the water on you, so make sure you got a cup down there to catch as much of it as you can. Okay, just a few quick tips. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to give us a shout. We'll be glad to help you answer them. And don't forget to subscribe and like this YouTube channel. You folks come back for some more wonderful information. Have a good day.